What is going on, people? Leo here from Creative Tech Lab, and we are back again to talk about all the new stuff that is happening. Specifically today, I want to talk about my reaction to the announcement of the Sony RX100 Mark VII. As you guys know, I do a lot of content around the Sony RX100 Mark series, so I definitely would have a lot to say about the release of the new 7, or at least the announcement of the new 7. But before we do that, welcome to Creative Tech Lab. My name is Leo. This is the video channel to accompany our website, creativetechlab.com, where we do talk about all things related to creativity, audio production, video creation, audio animation, so on and so forth, as we build out the platform. So the Sony RX100 Mark VII. So I go on vacation for a few weeks. I was in Singapore and in Bali, and all these different gear companies start dropping all kind of stuff that literally turns my world upside down. Reason being is I had a whole bunch of content created about the gear that I currently have, mainly the RX100 Mark VI. So my initial reaction was, like, I had all this content planned around the Sony RX100 Mark VI. I wasn't expecting them to release the 7. I was watching Sony Alpha rumors like a hawk. I was actually hoping that it would have been an update to the Sony RX10, which is a different camera that I don't do content for. However, after calming down a little bit, I realized that the content that I do relating to the 6 would definitely be applicable to the 7. Since the release of the 6, they have changed the focal length and the aperture and almost all the things that are in the 7 or in the 6, with a few minor tweaks, which we'll get into whether or not those are things that are worth updating for. All right, so looking at the features that they have upgraded, there's a lot of talk around the autofocus, eye autofocus, and animal eye autofocus, and continuous eye focus when it is that the camera is in video mode. And I think all those things are great. I'm not sure if it's worth upgrading from a 6 to a 7 for just autofocus. I think the autofocus in the 6 was already really good. So if Sony had decided to not upgrade this camera this year, you still would be looking at some of the best autofocus that you could find in a camera. However, if you don't already have access to these features, then definitely 7 is greater than 6. Now let's get into my main thing, because I use this camera a lot for video. So the two main things obviously is Sony finally listened and put the mic input into the camera. Now I think that's a big deal for a lot of bloggers. People have been asking for this since like version 4. They finally included the mic input into the camera so you could get audio straight into the camera. I'm not gonna lie, that would be a semi deal for me. If you look at my setup right now, I have a microphone that's actually right here, recording into my computer into Logic Pro, and then I have to then find my clips and sync that audio into Final Cut Pro. Not a hard process to do when I'm doing these talking head videos. However, it is one extra step before I start editing and cutting the videos up. I always have to sync audio, so it would be nice to just have a camera that was on board. The thing that I'm a little bit skeptical about, though, is what most people don't think about because they're camera people and not audio people, is I'm not too sure how good the preamps on a lower camera like this would be in terms of replacing my audio. So yes, on the go, when it is that I'm out and there's a lot of background noise and such, having a directional microphone would be better. But here in the house doing these talking head stuff for you guys, if I was using this camera, I'd probably still go with my off-board microphone because I'd want to plug into the preamps of my audio interface and use that, because I'm going to get better processing, better signal processing, and that's just going to sound overall better. But I think that is a big plus, and most people will like it. The only other maybe downside of having the microphone on there is that it doesn't necessarily fit in your pocket, but I think most people that are looking for it is you kind of have the flexibility, right? Like if you're out vlogging, you're probably gonna have a tripod on the camera anyway, so it's not gonna fit into your pocket. And then you could find a small microphone like the Rode Video Micro, or I saw iJustine with a really cool one that actually didn't even need a mount. You could just stick it in the, to the side, and it kind of just was on the side of the camera. So that's really cool. So mic input, big plus. Not a big enough plus to move the needle for me. Surprisingly, and this may surprise some people, the thing that would actually move the needle for me the most is the unlimited 4K recording. Now, I record these videos and a lot of anything that can be shot in 24 or 30 frames per second in 4K, and the record limit of 5 minutes is definitely not enough when you're doing like interview style stuff. And also, of course, the main thing is, even if you're stopping and going, sometimes I shoot these clips in like 2 or 3 minute clips, stop 2 minute, 3 minute clips, which is not a big deal. But the main problem is you always run into overheating issues. Even when you're in a controlled environment like this, 4K always gives me overheating issues. 1080p, even at 120 frames per second, rarely gives me any issues, but 4K is definitely a big deal. And that also means like if it's not overheating in 4K, that means Sony has figured out a way with the new sensor that the 180p settings that I used to have a few issues with would basically be non-existent. So that'd be the biggest motivation for me to move to that camera. Now, everybody's been asking me, a few commenters, I'm not a big YouTuber yet, but I do get a couple comments, and then all my friends are asking me if that's gonna be my next purchase, the Sony RX100 VII. Right now, I am holding tight because the camera that I'm waiting on, please come out as soon as possible, Sony, please, is the A7S Mark III. There's a bunch of different things that I'm waiting on, projects that I'm waiting on this camera to get an interchangeable lens camera. And while there's a bunch of different Sony cameras on the market that would be capable right now, it makes no sense for me to buy those cameras if I know the A7S III is coming out later this year. So the things that I'd upgrade for, like unlimited 4K recording and even microphone jack to get external audio directly into camera, I will be able to get those things in a larger camera later this year. So I'm not sure if it makes sense for me to go ahead and buy the camera right now. But I could just tell you from the specs that are out there, the 6 is so amazing that with these additional features on the 7, if you're in the market for a point and shoot camera and you're looking to get the best, regardless of price, the best camera on the market, 100% go ahead and get it. If you are at a 4 or a 5 and low light is not a big concern for you, and you want that extra reach of the 200 millimeters on the 6 or now the 7, definitely go ahead and get it. If you're already owner of a 6 and you want to go to the 7, that's a little bit more tricky. You have to make the decision on how big unlimited 4K and the microphone jack means to you. And then if you also, that's from a video perspective, if you take a lot of photos and you want to get better autofocus, then that's also up to you as well. So for right now, I am planning on holding tight. However, I am going to reach out to Sony. I'm not yet a huge YouTuber. My videos actually do pretty well based on how I promote them on other platforms and getting enough views. My RX100 lists do pretty well, so I think it would be worth it. And I'm going to reach out to as many Sony reps that I could find and see if I could get my hands on the camera, because I do have, as I mentioned before, a few different pieces of content related to the Sony RX100 series. I will do them on the 6 for as long before I get my hands on a 7, but if somebody wants to go ahead and give me a 7 to test, and I could do that content with a 7 so it'd be more updated. Sony, if anybody from Sony sees this, holla at me. Links in bio in terms of how to reach me, and I'll reach out to a few people, and if I could get my hands on it, then I definitely think it'd be beneficial for all the people that are looking for it. But regardless of that, definitely look out for the next video, which will be my actual year in review of having the Sony RX100 Mark VI. And because the 6 is so different from the previous versions, I think my year in review would actually be good information for anybody that's looking at the 6 at a discounted rate, presumably once the 7 comes out, or the 7 itself, because again, outside of the autofocus features and the mic input, everything related to the lens and the video settings and the range of the lens and all that stuff will be exactly the same from the 6 to the 7. So look out for that. That'll probably be the next video that I do related to the RX100 Mark VI. And then on top of that, I just mentioned that I came back from vacation. I went to Singapore and I went to Bali. So you've seen the 2 cinematic videos that I've done thus far that have done decent amount of views in terms of, at least for a small YouTuber, the Royalton and the Amalfi Coast video. I will have cinematic videos from Singapore and Bali as well related to the RX100, and then a few gimbal reviews on some new gimbals that are out as well related to the camera. So thank you for watching. That's my reaction to the Sony RX100 Mark VII. I think it would be a great camera if you don't already have one. Again, most people are talking about this as a pocket A9. I think this is just a pocket Sony Alpha camera. It's not necessarily, it doesn't have an A for Alpha, but this is an Alpha camera that could fit in your pocket. And with the new features on it, it's gonna be pretty awesome as a vlogging camera, as a camera that you could take as your B camera into places where you can't take your interchangeable lens cameras like clubs and dinners and all that stuff, or if you just want something that fits in your pocket or in your bag. So again, look out for the new content that I was talking about. That will be up pretty soon between this week and next week, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.